All right. This is the second half of the workshops I taught at the Kelly Fitzgerald Museum. If you missed it, the first half of this is um, so you want to write a book. This is I've written a book, now what? So the first half is getting you to finishing that first novel. This one is getting you, you've written the book. What kind of shit do you need to be worrying about? I'm here with my co teacher, Noodle. Um, the office cat. Clearly, he's super invested in this. So, all right, let's dive in. Uh, Again, I give these presentations in person. So these PowerPoint, this is the exact PowerPoint I used for them. So this is designed for folks in person. So if you get to your point, like, oh, that's weird. That's why. So yeah, I told people you can interrupt me to ask questions. You can't interrupt me. Get fucked. Because you're watching this recording. So I look scary, but I'm not. I'm a big teddy bear. Um, wow, just turn your back to me, Noodle. Okay. Um, who am I? I started writing in 2012 with NaNoWriMo. After mentoring, I began a series to self-publish in 2021. That's the series I'm best known for. It's called the Jubal County Saga. It's about a redneck wizard with a crippling meth addiction. I'm also a podcaster, indie game designer. I've done a lot of freelance writing. I have two useless degrees from Troy University, anthropology and music industry. Eagle Scout, love puns. Let's go. All right. Why should you listen to me, of all people? Um, I started traditionally published. Uh, it went poorly. I completed NaNoWriMo 7 times. I then started going self published. I've now written 12 books and kind of coming full circle. I'm getting back to being traditionally published. Capital Nightmares comes out in 2025. Again, I fucked this up. Two different workshops. I fucked up the year entirely. But 2025, Capital Nightmares will be coming out from Falstaff Books, specifically their Falstaff Dread horror imprint. Um, so yeah, I have written numerous books, and I have been both trad and self-published multiple times, and am a moderate success. Not going to say I'm a huge success, but I am a moderate success. There we go. Boom. So first thing I want to tell you, God, let me go. Here we go. Boom. Moderate your expectations. The majority of authors don't sell that many books. They really don't. The vast majority of authors don't make a livable wage doing this. Statistically speaking, the odds of you getting to do this full time are not very good. Caveat: if you have a spouse with a really really good paying job, then yeah, maybe you can quit to do this full time. That isn't that everyone's dream, you know. But look, um, when I first set out to do this, I'd set myself a goal. Oh yeah, 10 years I want to be doing this full time. And about the 5 year mark, I realized I had finally learned enough to know how unlikely that was going to be. Um, just because of the nature of healthcare in the U.S., I'm getting older and fatter every year. I require good health insurance. You know, I my dream now is to do this full time when I've retired from my day job. Who knows? Maybe I'll be one of the lucky ones that can start doing this full time sooner than that. But look, odds are it's just not going to happen. So moderate your expectations. I know that sucks to hear. And if I'm the first person telling you this, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. But the likelihood of you becoming the next Stephen King is non-existent. The likelihood of you becoming uh, a decent level of fame and notoriety from this is incredibly hard. Um, it just is. Sorry, it sucks. But all right, now that I've bummed you all out, here's what I'm going to say: define success for yourself. Okay, take becoming a full time author off the table for a moment, or maybe leave it on. But um, you're unlikely to be a bestseller. You're unlikely to become full time. In that case, if those are off the table, what does success look like for you? You need to figure that out. Um, what I settled on for me is, while yes, the dream of dreams would be to be doing this full time and to be a bestseller and yada yada yada. Um, Success for me would be making enough money doing this that me and my amazing wife that we can at least once a year take a vacation to anywhere in the world that we want and not have to worry about the money that I have basically paid for this trip out of my writing income. And we can go stay in a lavish hotel if we want. We can go eat all the tasty nibbles we want. Yada yada yada. I'm not there yet. Last year I made a little over 10 grand doing this, which is nothing to sneeze at. But after I deduct expenses, I got to reorder books, yada yada yada. I did not, I did not bring home necessarily 10 grand to just sit there for us to take a trip on. Um, I'm getting closer. Maybe in a few more years, we will be in my, you'll see one of these videos, me and my wife on a beach in, I don't know, Acapulco or Maui or something. Probably not the beach because I'm very Irish and I sunburn very easily, but maybe we'll be in the mountains of Switzerland and I'll be like, hey guys, I did it. So anyway, that's to me, that's success. That's an achievable goal. I feel confident I can get there. Success. Boom. That's real success for me. But you know what? That's a big, big ask. Okay. And that could be years down the road. Whatever you've defined success as, it could be years down the road. So give yourself smaller goals. So, like, if your goal is to become a full time author, which, let's be real, is everyone's goal, I think. That's a big goal. It's going to take years to get there. In the meantime, what are the smaller goals that will help get you there? Establish those and then celebrate them. So you can see here, this is my list of short term goals that I set. And if they're bold, I have hit them at the time I took this screenshot. So I don't, yeah, nothing else. I'm at like 950 on Facebook follows. I've not hit 5K books. I've not had I got so close to $1,000 book launch, but I missed it by like, I don't know, $60 or something like that. um Anywho, so these are short-term goals, uh and I celebrate them. You can see here, this is, I just went to my blog and I filtered by success, and I used a little success baby thing. um when I hit a success marker, when I complete it, I celebrate it. No one else is going to go celebrate these things. I'm going to celebrate them. By God, I'm going to let the world know I achieved a thing. You know what? When I complete all these short-term goals, I have a matching list of long-term goals that becomes my new short-term goals, and then I'll create a new list of long-term goals. And you see how it works there. Okay, and then eventually completing all these gives me opportunities to celebrate on my path to getting to where I want to be. So it makes a big goal seem more achievable because you can see where you're actually making moves along the way. Um, okay, you've got your book in your hand. You've completed a book. Broadly speaking, there's two paths, and you need to decide which way you want to go. Self-publishing or traditional publishing. And traditional publishing, that includes the big five in New York, but also includes small press publishing. Basically, anyone who publishes you is traditional publishing. Um, there's pros and cons to each. Self-publishing. The pro is you have all the control. The con is you have all the control. You are going to have to learn how to do many tasks, or you are going to need the money to be able to pay people to do many tasks. For example, getting covers made. You can either learn how to make a cover or you can hire someone to make a cover. Um, Depends on where your skill sets are. Maybe you're a graphic designer in your day job. Then you can absolutely make your own cover. Don't pay someone to do that. Um, so things like that. You will make more money per book that you sell. Okay. Um, Bringing Home the Rain, book one in my series. If I sell a copy, all the profits after Amazon takes their cut comes to me. If that was put out by, uh, Falstaff, okay, I'm getting published by Falstaff. With them, uh, they sell a book through Amazon. Amazon takes their cut. Falstaff takes their cut, and then I get my cut. Okay, you will make less per book with traditional publishing. the caveat is maybe you sell more, maybe you don't. That's the thing. Um, oh, there's so many things that go into it. Anywho, traditional publishing, small the small presses, it's not absolutely required, but generally speaking, you're going to have to get an agent. You have to get a book agent. If you, especially if you're going like Big Five, the big traditional presses, or any of the big small presses, they absolutely will not take an unsolicited manuscript. Um, you're going to have an agent. You're going to have to win an agent over, and then get them to pitch your book for you. You don't have to worry about hiring editors or cover designers, any of that. Your press will handle that. Um, so here's the thing: you're going to have social media with both. A lot of people think, oh, if I just go traditional publishing, I can skip social media. No, you can't. Here's the thing: traditional publishing is essentially gambling. It's large scale organized gambling. The traditional presses, they put out, you know, let's say Penguin puts out 5,000 books this year. They're not going to put any marketing budget behind any of them until one of them starts to sell. And the one that starts to sell, they'll put a little bit of money behind it. And if it sells more, they'll put a little bit more. And then boom, that's the one that gets all the marketing budget. Um, that's just how it is. Um, Agents now look at your social media presence because they know if they're trying to decide between two manuscripts to represent, and they see that you have 100 people on your social media, and the other one they're looking at has 10,000 people on their TikTok, they're going to go with the person with 10,000 people on TikTok because they know that just because you're traditionally published does not mean you don't have to market. You still have to do the majority of your marketing. You just do. So don't think, oh, I'm going trad. I don't need to do social media. Get fucked. We all have to do social media. We all hate it. Just move on with your life. Quit bitching. Start doing. Um, okay. Last thing is credibility. Um, Self publishing has gotten better about credibility. You know, they are seen as slightly more credible than they used to be. Um, but they will never have the credibility of a traditionally published book. That's just the nature of the beast. Because it's easier to achieve a published book with self publishing, it is viewed as less credible. Done. Um, you, and when it comes to money, it's just a crapshoot. There are tons of self published authors that are making far more than most traditionally published authors. I suspect I made more last year than a large number of traditionally published authors. I would say the majority of traditionally published authors. Um, if you took our money earned last year, I bet I'm beating the majority of them, making $10,000. It's it's hard. It's hard out there for a pimp, as they say. All right. Social media. Oh, did I just rant about social media? Yeah, I did because it's really important. No matter what path you take, you're going to have social media. Here's my advice about social media: it's better to not have a particular social media than to have one that you're not using. If you don't use it, they're going to assume that you have stopped. Let's say you have a Twitter, because why the fuck not? I don't know. And you have not posted on there in 6 months, and people are on Twitter and they go to find you and like, oh hey, this guy hasn't posted anything. Maybe he stopped. I don't know. Um, they're not going to follow. They're not going to pay you any attention. They're going to move on because they think that you're not doing the thing that they came to find you for. Um, so in that case, and a common tip is to go lock down your username at all the major social medias. If a new social media comes along, you go lock your name down. That's not bad advice. I don't necessarily do it, but I do it to a degree. In that case, you need to put a post on there, like pin it and say, hey, I am not here. This is just a placeholder, so no one takes my name. And you can find me here. And you have a link tree. Just here's a link tree to all the places you can find me. Um, okay, how often do you need to post? I would say at least once a week. If you cannot muster up one post a week, this is not the game for you. I'll be honest with you. If you cannot come up with one thing to post on social media a week, if you can't muster that discipline, you're probably not going to be able to get to where you want to go. Okay, one post a week is not a big ask. It's going to take you 20 seconds. Okay, all right. I do a post a day, every day. That said, I've been at this a long time. I generate enough content that I can do a post a day. Um, but yeah, so keep in mind, and you think, oh my God, but I don't even have, I've got this book out, it's not published. Da, 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 what am I even posting about? Okay, well, look, the people who follow authors on social media, they don't do it just for content about the books. They want to get to know the person. You have interests, share them. So um, let's just look here. These are some of my more recent, the day that I made this, I went and found like 5 or 6 of my more recent posts. So we can see here, I shared a meme about possums. I share possum memes because I have possums in my books. People like possums. Um, I did a post updating the word count, but that was an image I made. It wasn't just like a picture of my word count on my screen because those get old. Um, DragonCon, someone at DragonCon made a promo image. I shared that because I was going to be on some panels there. I took a picture of the newspaper article that I'm in, and then I shared a picture of me and Office Cat Oscar being a menace. So yeah, those are kind of things that I share. You can see that some of it is about my craft, some of it is a relevant meme, some of it is just about me. Okay, share a variety of stuff. All you're going to do is one post a week. I promise you, you can do it. Claim your turf. Social media is not your turf. Uh, your Facebook account, that's not your turf. That's Meta's turf. Okay. Same for Instagram. Same for Threads. Blue Sky. That's whoever owns Blue Sky. That's their turf. Twitter, X, whatever. That's not your turf. None of those are your turf. Um, that belongs to the company that owns that site. Your turf is your website and your newsletter because those are the places that you control the rules. On Facebook, you do a post, Facebook determines who gets to see your post. The algorithm works its witchcraft and shows your post to whoever they want. And it's never as many people as you would like. But guess what? Your newsletter, you send that out. Everyone who signed up for your newsletter, they get it. Okay? I average a little over 40% open rate on my newsletters. Have you had a social media post that 40% of your followers have clicked like? Probably not. I would be fucking shocked if that was the case. But month in and month out, I send out a newsletter that at least 40% of the hundreds of people that have signed up for my newsletter, they click to open and check out what I've got going on. Okay? It fucking works. There's some like weird. There's some in the air. Like the past few months, people are like, oh, newsletters don't work. Newsletters absolutely fucking work. If someone's telling you that newsletters don't work, it's because they're pissed off that they don't have a lot of newsletter opens and follows. Anywho, um, so your website, same thing. You control the rules. You control what goes on there, and as long as you don't start like a white power website, your host is never going to get rid of you. As long as you keep paying, they're going to let you post whatever the hell you want on there, Um, yeah. So your newsletter, your website, those are your turf. Everything you need to do needs to be getting people back to your turf. Um, Years ago, Facebook used to prioritize page views. If it was a post on a page, they got the most visibility. And then one night they flipped the switch to the algorithm. Now, if it was a post in a group, it was 3 times more likely to be seen than a page. Okay. There were entire companies that went out of business because they did not have a Facebook group. They had a Facebook page and their posts were no longer being seen. And because they had never used that Facebook to get them back onto their turf, they went out of business. Um, Tumblr. Tumblr used to be eaten up with porn, and a lot of people went there because the internet is for porn. Um, and then one day, Tumblr turned off all the porn, and everyone left. Not everyone, but a lot of people left. There were a lot of artists that they got. Their business model was posting on Tumblr and taking commissions. Well, suddenly there's a fraction of the people on Tumblr, and they're not getting commissions anymore. Okay, because they were never sending people back to their turf. Okay, you never know when an eccentric billionaire is going to buy a social media platform and ruin it. Um, Real life case, who knows? And so you need to be getting people used to going back to your turf. All your social media, the point of them is to lure people onto your turf. Okay? Got it? Good. Uh, Newsletters. Okay. Single best marketing tool. I think I've already talked about it pretty much in depth. It's usually free up until a certain point. So I use MailerLite. I used to use MailChimp. I use MailerLite. And you think to yourself, oh, I don't need a service. I just collect all these emails and I'll just send an email from my inbox. Yeah, the problem is that Google will end up putting a lot of that shit into spam folders. They just do. They've got lots of tools that they use to cut that stuff down. Um, Using a host like MailerLite ensures that it does not get caught up in spam filters. Okay, MailerLite, I believe, is free up to 2,000 subscribers. I think that's how it works now. Um, I've got 700 and something, so I'm good for a while. At the time that you get to where they're charging you, um, it will be where it will pay for itself at that point. Um, it should if you're doing everything right. Um, okay, and then you're like, oh my god, what do I even put in a newsletter? I have a guide for that. Go to my website, TalesbyBob.com. I have a quick and easy guide for uh, what to put into a newsletter to start building a newsletter. Super simple. Boom. Website, Linktree. I get it. You're just starting out. You've just finished a book. You cannot justify the expense of a website. You can see here, this is the front page of my website. Um, I get it. I do. Um, so until the point that you can justify the expense for a website, I would say go ahead and buy your domain if you can. Domains are not expensive. You can get a domain for, 10, $15 a year. Buy your domain now so that you can make sure that you have it. And then later on, you can always then, get a host. I use GoDaddy. Um, and then you've got your domain. Um, but whatever. If you don't do that, it's fine. But don't go crying to me if your name is John Smith and author John Smith is taken by the time you get ready to do it. Um, okay, two things. One, um, people are snobs. They are URL snobs. Not everyone, but a lot are. If you are wix.authorname.com, people will judge you. Okay, they just will. Good or bad, they're going to judge you. They're going to assume that you are less professional than you are because you do not have a normal looking domain name. Two, if you cannot justify the expense of a website, use Linktree. You can see here, this is my Linktree. They are free. Every so often I have someone argue me that they are not free. I promise you they are fucking free, okay? Linktrees are free. There is a paid version, but it is free. You can just go get it. It's free, okay? Because at the end of the day, your website is a link aggregator, okay? The website is where you have the links to where to buy your books, where to find your social medias, where to contact you, yada, sign up for your newsletter, yada, yada, yada. A link tree can do all that, okay? You can see here, this is a screen grab of mine. The top one is where to buy my books. Next one's my website, email list sign up, where to get the audiobooks, my Patreon, my Instagram, my Facebook, my YouTube channel, etc., etc. So whatever people are interested in, boom, they go to my link tree. That link tree is in all my social medias, right? If in the description up there, it's like Bob is the bee's knees, and here's a link tree. Boom, click that, takes you to everything. Okay, and the beauty of it is on your business card. Where's one of my business cards? I've got like a billion of them. I know I've got some right around here. Oh no, oh here we go. Okay, so Linktree will generate you a QR code. So you can see here, this is my business card. Boop. Okay, this QR code goes to my Linktree. So if in the future, if I have to change my website for whatever reason, or I have to change my Facebook for whatever reason, I just change it on the Linktree, but that QR code still works. Thing of beauty. So you could change literally everything about you. That QR code can stay the same, and you don't have to get new business cards. Wunderbar. Networking. You should start networking. Go to events where there are authors, workshops, comic cons, library events, anything like that. Farmers markets. If you see an author, you need to go talk to them. Get to know them, especially your local authors. Um, you know, it's even better if they're just starting out like you. That's the real dream. Get to know them. You never know what opportunity is going to come from this. The picture here, this guy works in the Atlanta film industry, and I talked to him at length. He We talked about my books for a bit, and then I got to ask him lots of cool questions about the Atlanta film industry because it's something relevant to me currently. So um, you never know. Uh, for me, um, years ago, I went to Dragon Con. There's a panel. There's a guy on there named Ben Meeks. He said, "Yeah, I write a southern urban fantasy series about a were otter in North Georgia hunting demons." I was like, "Oh my God, there's someone else writing southern urban fantasy." I went up, talked to him. We exchanged emails. We swapped emails for a time, and we now do events together all the fucking time. Like, you know, 7 8 times a year we're doing an event together. We just did Dragon Con together. We're going to be doing Conjuration together soon. We're doing Atlanta Comic Con or Alabama Comic Con together here real soon. um, and we have saved each other so much money over the years by splitting table costs, by splitting a hotel room, plus just the camaraderie, words, the camaraderie of having someone else who's on the grind like me that I can bounce ideas off of or just commiserate with. It's so good. So yeah, go network, make connections, ask questions. Just ask. I promise you, it'll be fine. Just ask. Marketing. You'll be responsible for all if you're self-publishing, or most if you're trad publishing, and every chance in the world, all of the marketing for your book. Broadly speaking, there's two paths. You can pay for ads like on Facebook or Amazon, or you can do in-person or organic marketing. Marketing is its own workshop. I'm not going to cover that here. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not the guy to talk about paid ads. I don't do paid ads currently. I will start doing them sometime in the next year. Um, but if you want, on this channel, wherever you're watching this, I have a presentation on organic marketing for authors that I presented at the uh, Alabama and Atlanta writing workshops, I believe. Um, and the PowerPoint is on my website with a link to the video, yada, 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 talesbybob.com/education. You can go watch me prattle on about organic marketing for like an hour. And it works. Um, so yeah, marketing. Boo. We all hate it. Branding. It's never too early to start establishing your brand. Um, my brand is Possum Hawaiian shirts, this hat, and this vest. That's my brand. Um, and it works. People can pick me out of a crowd. And it kind of tells people a lot about me. To the point where you see this possum in the punk vest painting. A fan of my works mailed me that. They saw it at a farmer's market and were like, "Oh my God, that is Bob. I got to send him this." And they sent me that. Like, what the fuck? That's amazing. Um, you can see here, this is my book banner that I've started making. I haven't got to really unfurl it out too much yet, but it was like, oh, Bob's brand is this biker vest with a bunch of pins on it. Why don't I turn that into my book banner for in my booth? Um, and it's a conversation starter. So you got to figure out what your brand is. Um, Hopefully, it's not possums and punk vests because that's my brand. Go find your own brand. But yeah, it's never too early to start establishing your brand, what it is that makes you you. Here's some self-publishing specific advice. Editing. You're gonna have to do editing. It's going to be your biggest expense, almost certainly. You cannot edit your own book. Jesus Christ, the number of people I that try to argue on this, like, oh no, I taught college English, I can absolutely edit my book. Sure, you have the skill set. Unfortunately, you are too close to your book. You will miss too much. You don't know there's a plot hole. You wrote it, right? You need someone else to come in and tell you that there's a plot hole. You can't see it. You wrote it. Um, you do not want your friends or family to edit your book. They're going to be too close to you. They're not going to want to hurt your feelings. They're never going to be as brutal as they need to be. Um, I cannot advocate enough for having a paid relationship with someone to get your editing done. Um, and you're going to want to pay for the most editing you can afford. This is my editor. She is absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to like dox her. I don't think she'd care, but yeah. Anyway, this is my editor. Um, she's saved my bacon so many times. Yeah, covers. You can learn this skill. I don't recommend that you do typically. Um, First off, don't use AI for your covers. You're going to get blowback. It's not worth it. Expect to spend a couple $100s for a decent cover. Prices have come down a bit on this. Um, but folks will judge you by your cover. That's the point of a book cover. The whole don't judge a book by its cover. That's so fucking stupid. That's the whole point of a book cover is to be judged. Anywho, these are some of my book covers. I paid for this one, Bringing Home the Rain, and then I paid for The Depth of the Water, and I didn't like it. I did not like what she did with it. It's the same artist, um, and so I learned enough graphic design that I was able to fix it. I always pay for the source file so I can do stuff like this. And so then I've made all the book covers since then because I learned enough to teach myself. But my covers are more minimalist style. Yours probably won't be. So just pay someone to do it. Honestly, um, it'll be worth it. Pay a professional to do your book cover. It'll probably be your second biggest expense. Trad publishing specific, you're gonna have to get an agent. You got to learn how to write a query letter. I ain't the guy. I'm not a query letter expert. You want to workshop it repeatedly, and then workshop it some more, and then workshop it some more. A lot of editors still hang out on Twitter, or editors and agents. Um, I think a lot of them have moved to Blue Sky now. There's some on Threads, but yeah, just go there, find editors that represent the kind of stuff that you do, and just keep an eye on them and see, hey, I'm taking submissions, and send in your query letter. There are also in-person events. I have taught workshops at them, and I have also been an attendee at them in the much more distant past. Um, Writer's Digest puts some on across the U.S. Um, you go there and you get FaceTime with an agent and you get to pitch to them, and then they tell you, yes, send me the first 50 pages, or no, I'm sorry, that's not really what I'm looking for. And then you move on. And they're going to judge you by your social media presence. They will. They're going to look. So start building it now. So yeah. Editing. It does not make sense to pay to have your whole book edited. I've seen people that do this. Don't edit. Pay someone to edit your book. Editing is really expensive, so don't do that. At most, pay to have the first 10 or 50 pages edited, but don't pay for the whole book. Fuck. That said, make your first page perfect. And then when you think you've got it perfect, make it more perfect. That first page, literally, editors or agents are looking for any reason to say no in that first page. If you can get past the first page, they get progressively more forgiving. But your first page has to be absolutely perfect. Your first 10 pages need to be pretty damn close to as perfect as you can get it. My biggest piece of advice, just ask. Seriously, just ask. Just ask. Whatever hiccup you're having, just ask for help. What bit of knowledge you need, ask somebody for it. I have a contact form on my website. Please, you've seen this, you have follow-up questions, reach out, contact me through there. I promise I will answer you. Yeah, just ask. Couple books I recommend. Ben Meek's The Art of Selling Books. If you're thinking about doing selling books in person, I cannot recommend this book hard enough. I know he's my writer friend, but he taught me how to hand sell books. I'm pretty good at hand selling books because he taught me literally everything I know. And coming out soon, this whenever this video hits, it'll be out in a month or two. So by the time you're watching this, hopefully it's out. I have my book, Create Your Way to Freedom, How to Be a Success from Someone Who Isn't, now with bonus curse words. But in the style of Stephen King's On Writings, it's a very autobiographical look of how I came to be where I'm at and how you can use your creativity to get to where you want to be. Thank you. A copy of this presentation can be found on my website. A PDF of this PowerPoint is on my website. It's on the Education tab. And again, you can use the contact form there to ask me any questions you have. I have a lot of content on there. I really do. Like a lot of workshops turned into videos and PowerPoints. I've got all sorts of little guides, like a guide to selling at your first in-person event, a guide to elevator pitches, all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. It's all free. I do not charge for any of that kind of stuff. Uh, I just try to pay back the help I've received over the years. So yeah, talesbybob.com. It's all there. You can even skip the bullshit of all my books and all that stuff and just do talesbybob.com/education. And you'll find it there. Or, if you're seeing this on YouTube, you're probably there's a playlist of my other workshops and stuff on there. So yeah, that's what we got. Noodle, any last thoughts? Well, that was insightful. So, all right. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope one day when you've sold 1 million copies, you remember me fondly. I'll tell you how to spell my last name on the check. And till then, y'all be good.